Hey everybody, this is Ed, and I understand you have some questions about a particular phrase that is used in the part of the book dealing with lifestyle Christianity. In the Old Testament, the prophet Jeremiah was referred to as the weeping prophet. And I don't claim to speak for his intentions, but it seems to be fairly obvious that one of the reasons he was weeping is because he felt as though the folks inside the town, standing in the shadow of the temple in Jerusalem, doing all that they thought was necessary to be a part of the integrity of the process of being a good follower of God Yahweh, that they were missing a significant portion of the intimacy and the connection with God merely by attending and associating themselves with a place, a philosophy, and a few liturgical things that they found most important and essential in the life of their understanding of worshiping God Yahweh. Jeremiah, as well as many other of the country preachers, were on the outskirts of the symbol of the kingdom of God. And they constantly were berating those in the temple, those who were providing some outward evidence of being a good Jew, that you're getting it wrong. You're not even close to what God is calling you to be, because you're more concerned and have been taught, even because people believed it and they had good intentions of being honorable, right, and righteous folks, that you were doing the wrong things, that God calls you to intimacy and a deeper connection that continues to grow and expand, not outward, but inward. And these prophets, and specifically I refer to Jeremiah, was constantly telling people, get closer to God. Go back to the real foundations of your faith, not doing more this on Thursday and that in January and this on the third Saturday of the month at the temple in the third pew on the right, and make sure that you swing the smoke this way and blow the shofar to the left and circle it. All that nonsense makes no difference to God, and there are plenty of scriptural references that God isn't interested in that at all. He's not interested in the acts of religious veracity. He is looking for the intimacy of faithful connections. And so that particular reference to being on the outskirts of the kingdom means, in effect, from a practical standpoint from today, is that the Christian church in general has grown into a sense of liturgical responsibility without putting the emphasis and the foundation on the intimacy of the connection with Christ. Liturgy doesn't get you intimacy with Christ. You get intimacy with Christ. Your church building doesn't get you intimacy with Christ. You get connection with Christ. God calls you personally. And it is that personal connection to God, that outreach of the inward soul, that proves your divine connection to God. Not whether you are RCA or Presbyterian or Lutheran, Episcopal or Baptist or Apostolic. That's nonsense. That doesn't make a difference whatsoever. That is a means to organize and extract worship and prayer and fellowship and service, and those are things which are needed and right and reasonable and should even be honored. But to place them at the foundation of your faith, Jeremiah would still be weeping. It's not about what we do. It's about who we belong to. It's not about the things we say. It's about the things we mean. Even if we mean what we say, if we are not willing to share it and serve others with it, and to be responsive to those around us, not because we're so good, but because God's so good. If indeed, the RCA has great history, but if that history becomes preeminent in our religious understanding, we have failed miserably. It is a personal connection that makes all the difference. And thereby, eliminating us standing on the outside of the kingdom, looking at the big temple of Jerusalem